Hey everyone, it's Manav, and in today's video we'll be talking about how I get inbound DMs with only 34 subs using human bias. And unlike other people, like I actually have screenshots of it, right? As you can see, like inbound DMs, DMs from my clients, right? That they get results, and booked calls, DMs, and client results, booked calls, and like you can see all of this. Now, who is this for? This is for info product sellers, and I'm gonna show you exactly how I get inbound DMs, but more importantly, like how I booked 8 inbound coaching calls with only 34 subs, so you can just copy me. So without further ado, let's just begin with it. Well, personally, I just use YouTube as both, like traffic generation and conversion process. But how do I use it? Because almost everyone uses it, but they rarely get the same results as me. And I'm not trying to brag, but like I'm just trying to like show you a difference that like in the results. So this is my channel with 34 subs, and here's some insane shtick. By WillIQ itself, if you don't know what it is, it's an authenticated app by YouTube. So as you can see, like most micro channels under 100 subs, they struggle to make like 40 to 50% of non-subscriber views, and we are at 80%, right? And because of this, the content is being suggested along with like bigger creators, which like obviously get more views and stuff, which means more chances of booking calls, right? And the algorithm sees the potential in my niche positioning, right? And talking about another thing, which is like we are currently outpacing the normal growth curve by roughly 10x, right? And the reason behind this is just like two things. First thing is the type of content, and second thing is the system that I came up with myself, right? So let's just begin with it, right? In which like the first thing is the type of content, and it's insanely important for you to understand it before you implement the system, right? So let me tell you how every other coaches does it versus how I do things, which help me get all of these results, right? So every other coach you look at, like they have this like funnel kind of thing going on, in which like they have top of the funnel content, middle of the funnel content, and bottom of the funnel content, right? As you can see, it's like Hormozi is here, so he has like top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, and bottom of the funnel, right? Which is good if you are focused on getting more views and you want to build a personal brand, right? But in all honesty, I don't want to like get views, at least for now. I want to book calls, right? And I want to do that as fast as humanly possible. Plus, I want to do it with a really small audience, right? Which is why I made sure that 90% of my videos were bottom of the funnel content, and the remaining 10% was middle of the funnel content, right? There was no top of the funnel content, which is why like YouTube really clearly understands who my dream clients is, and those guys are only my viewers. There is no one other than that, which is why like I just increase my chances a lot to book more calls, right? And like which basically just helps me get hyper qualified leads with just like 34 subs. I mean, bro, like look at this, like this was my most recent video, and look at this audience demographics, like 51.5% of the viewers were from US, right? And it's not just this video, but almost every single one of my videos, right? Even though I don't live in US, most of my viewers are from there, because YouTube does not just understand my audience, but it also understands my dream client. But like anyways, as like the channel grows, I will be putting the top of the funnel content more, but for now the only focus will be to get hyper qualified lead and make it money, right? But anyways, this was really important for you to understand, if you want to scale your info product really fast. And the thing is, like, if you want to like get hyper qualified leads, the first step in all of this thing is just putting out as much bottom of the funnel content as you can, mixing with middle of the funnel content, which is gonna help you kind of get a bit more views, right? But anyways, like this was really important for you to understand. And by the way, like just tell me like if this was a golden nugget for you, because like I don't know how many people know this, but like almost everyone make this mistake of producing like top of the funnel content a lot. And yeah, just let me know in the comments, right? Now, coming to the second reason which helped me get inbound DMs and book calls with only 34 subs is a system, right? And I created this system for myself, right, to get results like these for me and my clients, as you can see here. Now, the system is called Human Bias Content Ecosystem, right? Now, I'm going to talk about like the biggest bottleneck for all the info product sellers and how this system kills that exact problem. Before that, let me just tell you like a quick thing about myself. Growing up, like I had some shtick which made me understand humans a lot better, right? And that is how I created this system. It works on human psychology, behavior, and its biases. Now, why will this system work specifically for you? Look, everyone is literally doing the same stuff in like info product coaching space, that oh, this is the best way to scale your coaching business in 2026, or how I made 100k a month at 20. And the secret to that is like their in-hand profit is just like 9k. But anyways, like it's not my place to talk about it. But anyways, now if you go on and you open your camera and you start talking about the same thing, here's how your audience perceives it, you know. They just perceive it as like, oh, he's just another guru trying to, you know, like become like Alex Hormozzi or Charlie Morgan and trying to make money off of me, right? The thing is, like, your audience brain is designed to ignore patterns, right? If you look like every other guru, their brain just auto skips it, you know, which is why, like, to get their attention, you need to trigger psychological biases, you know. By the way, if you're a high ticket coach and you want your money to work for you, I basically do every single these of things for my clients, right? Which is why, like, if you want to book a quick call, go to the first link in the description and yeah, you can do that, right? And the thing is, like, you gotta have an edge or something that makes people attract towards you, because just to give you an example, the closest thing to you is probably your romantic partner, you know. So the reason you chose them specifically is because they offer something or a combination of things that no one else can, right? They have an edge that no one else had, right? Which is why, like, you specifically chose them. And you have to do kind of the same thing in business, right? For example, this is my most recent video, you know. It got me 3 inbound DMs in just 48 hours with only 34 subs, you know. So let me show you how I very carefully and consciously use those human biases to almost guarantee results from this video, right? So, you know, like, somewhere in this video I was talking about, so instead of going to the traditional way of getting traffic from Instagram and converting it on YouTube, I just use YouTube for both traffic and conversion process. Now what I did was, like, people are used to, you know, like, having confirmation bias, but, you know, like, just these 2 lines I disapprove of what they might believe to be true, and now it created a kind of contradiction in their mind about, like, which way is better to, you know, like, get traffic and convert it, right? Which is why, like, not just I come out to be different, but I also be perceived as someone who is honest and authentic, right? Basically depends on, like, how people perceive it, but most of the people, you know, like, they just think that, okay, he's different, you know, it is more honest and authentic, right? Now, how does this system actually work step by step, and, you know, like, how you can replicate it, right? So how the system works is, like, we consciously induce first principles of human psychology in our content ecosystem to book calls and convert them, right? And the reason it works so well, because, like, it's not some tactical stuff that changes every few weeks, right? These are, like, first principles of human psychology and behavior which are evergreen, right? Which is why they're guaranteed to work for almost anyone, right? And the thing is, like, humans have some bias, and since they are not aware of them, so they don't really know how to leverage these biases, you know. Also, they don't even know that these biases are also the thing that controls their actions subconsciously, you know. And we consciously plant those biases in our YouTube videos throughout the video to book calls and help them change their lives, right? Now, the best way to explain this is obviously with the help of example. And by the way, you know, like, one of my sales calls, I actually asked them, you know, like, what video made you actually book a call? And these were kind of the biases that he basically talked about, right? So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna share with you 3 biases that I used for myself, and these are, like, kind of proven to work really well, you know. So the first one is the objection killer. The thing is, like, a really important objection for you to handle is, like, can you actually help me, right? The thing is, like, if people don't 100% believe that you can deliver on your value, they will never book calls, right? So here's how I kill this objection in this video of mine. Thus, that is how I also do it in every other videos, right? First way to do this is conviction, right? This is really important. Whatever claim you're making, you know, like, say it with conviction. If you don't do it, it will be impossible for you to, you know, like, just book calls or just to induce confidence into your viewers to book calls, right? Which is why, like, in this particular video, I just try and say things with stupid levels of conviction, you know. Second way to do it is by offer, right? This is the best and really the most important way to induce confidence into your audience. Offer extremely desirable outcomes and do it with guarantees if possible, right? So this is my offer. I'm gonna help you at 20 to 50k MRR in 120 days guaranteed if you do the work, right? So this is, like, kind of my quick overview of my offer, and I'm not saying it's really the best one, but all I'm saying is, like, just offer something that your audience is dying to want, right? Third way to do this is testimonials and proof. All of my videos you see begins with a collage of testimonials, right? So as you can see, like I began with like as many testimonials as I could, right? So that is how you really kill their objection of can you actually help them. And what this does is like this induce confidence in your audience to just believe in your ability to deliver on your services, right? Second bias that I use a lot is the isolation effect, right? The thing is like YouTube has now gotten a lot more difficult than it used to be, and the more you wait, the harder it gets, right? And that is why it becomes really important for you to set yourself apart from every single person, right? So let me give you some bird level perspective of what's happening, right? Everyone is just saying the same thing, right? This is the best outreach method, or Instagram story sequence, or start making content. Everyone knows these things, you know. And if you're just saying the same stuff, then to people, you are just another noise in the market, you know. The thing is like you have to be the black sheep in your niche so that you can differentiate yourself from the crowd, right? Now the big question is how you do it. To differentiate yourself from other people in your niche, in my opinion, the best way to do that is defining your content pillars like I do it, you know. Basically, content pillars are something that are the kind of broad topics in which you can beat most of your competition, right? Which is why like I infuse human psychology with client acquisition, right? Which is why like most people are not doing it, and the ones who are doing it, I just think that I'm better than them, right? And not just that, bro, like I also get results, which is why like it's proof of itself, right? And then once you make your own, you know, like content pillars, what happens is like you just come out to be unique every single time, right? And note that these are not fixed, you know. It's just like the topics which naturally interest you, and basically where you can eat your competition, right? And once you do that, imagine how far you will be from these guys who are saying that, you know, like, oh, AI is the future or the best business model in 2026, right? Third bias that I use a lot is creating the illusion. The thing is like if after watching your YouTube video the viewer feels like, oh, I can do this by myself, great value, you're not gonna book calls, right? You intentionally have to make it complex for your viewers to do it themselves. You kind of have to create a kind of, you know, like illusion of making it complex for your audience, right? So how do you do it? You basically just tell them the cost of doing everything by themselves, right? And yes, you know, like there should be a cost of doing everything by themselves, right? So for example, like if you try and do all of this by yourself, you have to first understand psychology, then you have to understand biases, and then you have to learn how to use them in your videos. Whereas if you can just you know, like let your money work for you, I do everything for you, right? So you basically save bunch of time and make more money, right? And the second way to do this is make them really live in that moment where they have tried everything by themselves and still failed. This is like really important, which is why like if I have to make it complex for you, what I will do is like I will just try and create a scenario in which like I'm gonna show you your life really clearly of what it will look like if you tried everything for years and still failed, you know. So it's like really important. By the way, if you're a high ticket coach and you want your money to work for you, I basically do every single these of things for my clients, right? Which is why like if you want to book a quick call, go to the first link in the description, and yeah, you can do that, right? And by the way, you know, like just tell me like if this was a golden nugget for you, because like I don't know how many people know this, but you know, like almost everyone make this mistake of producing like top of the funnel content a lot. And yeah, just let me know in the comments, right?